Hi. I know. I did finally let someone know about it. Like, I don't know if it's gonna change anything, but Miss Blackmore had sent an email that was like, even if you already put in a work request for your AC, let us know if it's not working. And I was like, I'm hesitant to put in a work request because I don't want anyone to come and fix it and make it worse. But it's very cold in here to the point where kids are bringing blankets. So it's always at 66 or 67. Hi. It is freezing. Isaiah, did you try on your cap and gown last night? Does it fit? It was so good. Good. Yeah, go for it. Nothing. Or the thing on the side. Yeah, Mr. Nelson came in yesterday and messed with it all for a long time because he was like, I'm sure that something will change it. I'm like, nothing changes it.
Put it up to 85 and it starts leaving out, let me know.
Okay.
Maybe if it's on like if it was on like 75, maybe it's on if it's on 85, you might have to go.
Maybe it'll be like, yeah, it'll be 10 degrees warmer. I don't even need it to be 10 degrees warmer. I need it to be like 3 degrees warmer.
Yeah.
3 or 4, like 70, 71 would be totally fine.
Yeah.
Hi.
It wants to be 66 degrees.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous.
I'm like, is there a ghost in here? Is that what's going on? Oh.
Every time I walk by that water fountain, it goes.
Yeah, that's what, like, maybe there's a ghost who's haunting my room because it makes that water fountain go off all the time and it makes it freezing cold in here. So, I don't know, I think maybe so.
Like when I walk, like it's the sensitive thing, like
I don't think so because sometimes it doesn't work when you need it to work. And you have to like mess with the little sensor for a while before it'll do anything. It's very annoying. Do you want oh no. You need a mental health day. With a spirit strong. Huh? What about him?
So, snap right.
Uh-huh.
Okay, no attention. You won't hear this one with it. So, he was practicing our clothes, right?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, person, please pay attention. I'll give you my pencil, my paper, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'm gonna do it. So, next day, quiz, person, the company, Jenny, you got the math done? I had it right, and I deleted. I said, how you deleted it? And I used piece of paper and pencil. And I know you're lying. So now, the quiz was due Friday, and he still hasn't done it yet.
Oh my gosh. Christian.
So he was like, so can you like make me another quiz, whatever? So I was like, sorry, Christian, that's the only quiz I can give you.
Yeah.
So he was like, I'll give you like a set a date, whatever. To do it. So now he's for the text a couple minutes asking for help. And I don't know the answer more.
Christian.
He was trying to, but Christian doesn't do nothing.
This is so funny. Just the other day, Chip was talking about Christian in science and said that he got a text from him one night and he was like, what part of the flower produce or what part of the plant produces pollen? And Chip said the stamen produces pollen and Christian just said stem. And he was like, no. And then Christian said,
Now.
flour?
Christian
Like,
didn't have
I already gave you the answer.
So the song was like, what's 1 times 1? 2?
Christian,
What's 4 times 4?
4.
I said, Christian, oh my God, you don't know? And he was standing up looking at him like,
Christian.
what's the answer? Christian now.
Oh my God. That's so funny. I mean, exponents can be tough. I get it. I feel like I always feel like the gauge for math is like, if I know how to do it, you should know how to do it.
But it's like, it was excellent. So 1 to the first
Yeah.
power or whatever. And Chris was like 2. 4 to the 4th power. 8. I'm like, oh my gosh, Christian, are you serious?
Oh, he cracks me up. I think that's supposed to be a picture of Christian, actually, if I remember right. It was at least, I think that's supposed to be a picture of Christian. Brendan drew that.
It looked just like Christian.
Oh, we're missing a few. We have Alyssa, we have James, we have Jenny, we have LeBron, we have Cece. We don't have Cade. We don't have Zane. We do have Randall. We are gonna do this little game exercise thing, and then we're gonna start reading The Great Gatsby. I think it's great. A lot of people think it's great. I feel like by the end of my life, I'll be able to just like say this book. Like I've read it so many times that I think I'll just be able to like, it's not that long. Is it 6 chapters or 9 chapters? It's a book.
Listen, so I'm gonna tell you right now, in 6th grade, I don't know. I'm sorry.
It's 11 o'clock.
Mhm.
Give us books. I'm like, did you read it? No, like the thing I do, I go on the internet and look up the summary about the book,
Uh-huh.
and like I just like study the book from right up to the website, like I read the book. I
Yeah.
like reading the book. It's like not for
It's not everybody's favorite thing, but in English, it is kind of necessary. We gotta do it.
I know what you're talking about, like when we do like the debates, whatever.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, what do they call it? Yeah, group is talking about the book.
Yeah, like Socratic circles. Yeah, I love Socratic circles.
No, do that real good. Just so
I
that-
know. I remember one time last year, and I don't remember like what we had read or anything, but I like gave you guys a list of questions for Socratic circle, and you were like, can I ask a question that's not on the list? And it impressed me so much. I was like, yes, absolutely. Like, come up with your own stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to get great.
Yeah. You did good. You did good. All right, so now we're only missing Zane. I'm gonna plug in so that you guys can hear each other. Well, you know, it's debatable if he actually was great. I mean, as Leonardo DiCaprio played him, I think is great. Yeah. Yeah, of Mice and Men. Of Mice and Men. Yeah. Where he shot him in the head at the end.
I've heard about that book this guy was reading in her classes. Like, he stuck with puppies in his pockets and killing them? What?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's quite a story. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's just like a big dumb guy who like doesn't know his own strength, and so he's sweet, but he's really strong, and so he like wants to pet puppies, but he's too strong and like pets them to death. Here comes Zane. Now we have everybody.
Everybody.
Everybody, yeah. Backstreet Boys. Backstreet's back. All right. I'm going to see Backstreet Boys in July. I'm pumped about it.
Who's that?
Backstreet Boys? Oh my God. I know, right?
You're just gonna watch 40-year-old dudes who are like out of shape,
Yeah.
sweating and dancing on
No, they're
stage.
still so good. Like, cause they never really broke up. They've been like performing the whole time. In fact, a couple of seasons ago, they were on The Bachelor. And like one of the dates was that they got to go like learn to dance to Backstreet Boys and stuff. And they were so good.
That is Miss McClellan. With all due respect, please do not go and see that. Like, please do
No,
not waste your money on that.
I
Don't
already
do
have
that.
tickets. Of course I'm gonna go. I probably will not get to meet them. And TBH, I do not like to meet celebrities because I feel like they're like I'm just fangirling and I don't want them to see me that way. I just want like if I want to meet somebody that I really admire, I want to like sit down and have dinner, like hang out or something. I don't want to just be like, oh, another screaming fan. I did meet Jason Mraz one time, if you guys know who that is. And he
No way, really? Stop it,
Yeah.
because I went to the concert in 2018. It was so good. Oh my gosh.
He yeah. Oh, I'm sure they're like 40. Yeah. They were very popular when I was in like 5th to 8th grade. Although to be fair, I was more of an NSYNC girl, but I don't think we have to choose, you know. I feel like there's room enough in my heart for both. So, I met Jason Mraz, and during the concert he was wearing like plaid and jeans and barefoot, and then when we met afterwards, he was for no reason wearing a big dinosaur costume. Yeah. In fact, let me see. I'm gonna go to my Facebook for just a second. Really?
So like if you still know him or something.
I mean, I don't know it. I never knew him.
If you wanted to bring him to class or something.
I would love to bring him to class. Let's see, how long ago is this? Is a long time. There he is.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like please ignore how gross I was at the time, but here we go. Cece, you can see me meeting Jason Mraz in a dinosaur costume.
Oh, that's cool.
It was fun.
He was pretending like I was cool.
What?
No. It was tasted.
No. That was me and my sister and our friend. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do today is talk about unreliable narrators. What does that mean? Narrators that have bias.
The narrator that tells the story, but it's incorrect to how we see it. For example,
Yeah.
American Psychopath, The Joker. Ooh, I'm trying to remember another one. Stuff like that.
Yeah, and now to be fair, it's not always somebody who has like a reason to lie or like a mental instability or something. Sometimes it is. In fact, there's this really good book that if you wind up liking The Great Gatsby, I will recommend to you, which is like a contemporary book, but in the book, the world of The Great Gatsby is true. But the girl in it is a super unreliable narrator because she had like a trauma happen to her, and she's like seeing things happen in a different way to how they actually are in reality. So sometimes you do have a thing like that, or like, you know, some kind of mental instability or something that's making it look really different. But sometimes unreliable narrators are just normal, but for some reason, either intentionally or not intentionally, they're just telling you a skewed version of things. Sometimes that could be
They're just telling like their point of view.
they're telling their point of view.
Unreliable narrator, our own memories.
Yeah. And a good example of that is like if I told a story about something that happened in our class last year, I bet if you told the same story, LeBron, it would sound a little bit different, not because one of us is lying, but because we remember it differently. And our memories and the way that we talk are like filtered through our own brains. And then sometimes it's like, you know, if you're trying to tell a story about something that happened when you were a kid, it might not be the most accurate portrayal because it's been a long time and you might not remember it exactly right. That doesn't mean that you're lying. It's just that you don't quite remember it in the same way. Or sometimes we tell stories that maybe have a little bit of white lie in them just because we don't necessarily sound that good in the story. And so we're trying to like sugarcoat it a little bit. That happens.
Sometimes when you're mad,
Sometimes when you're mad.
you just overbook it and you just, this happened, this person is terrible. I don't know anyone else's views, it's just mine and everything is
Yes, exactly. Yeah, emotion definitely clouds it. And I think just like looking back on things, emotions do cloud it, whether that emotion is like anger or nostalgia or, you know, affection that you had for somebody else that was a part of the story. So sometimes unreliable narrators are unreliable on purpose, and sometimes they are unreliable just because they are, for whatever reason, to make it interesting. I want to like look at this for a second. Okay, so like for instance, if I were to tell you guys a story about something that happened to me when I was a kid, would you believe me? Okay.
Yes. Yes, I would.
Okay, Cece says she would. Would you
Depends on the
believe?
story.
Would you believe Alyssa if she told you about a thing that happened when she was a kid?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do, and I'll go first. Anybody who wants to, we don't all have to do it, but you're gonna tell a story or just like 2 or 3 sentences about something that you did or something that happened to you when you were a kid, or doesn't have to be when you're a kid, just something about you. And the
Before we do this, I want to give my reasoning why I said this.
Okay.
Because I know Alyssa. I know how Alyssa is and who she is as a person. That's why I say absolutely not. It all depends on how you know the person. See, I don't know your personal life like that, Miss McClellan. And if I had to guess, your life would be pretty simple. But if we're talking about Alyssa's life was also simple. However, it's just not the same type of simple. Okay. So like I can't necessarily just be like, yeah, that happened to Alyssa, because it probably didn't happen to Alyssa. On the off chance that it did, however.
I think that's fair.
You know.
Yeah.
Cece, I feel like you have not listened to enough stories that I've told.
Alyssa, I listen to every single thing you say to me, and some things I believe and some things I don't. Now, which ones that we're talking about, I'm not going to tell you. That is just all up to me. However, I don't believe everything you say, but I do believe a majority of it. Out of the 100% things, I believe 99% of things that you say.
Okay, well, let's find out. We're gonna go around. I'll do the first couple, and you're gonna give a statement about yourself or like something that happened to you when you were a kid. You know, something about your family, but you can either tell a fact or you can make it up, and we have to determine whether you're telling the truth or not. So, for instance, here's my first one. I'll do a couple. When I was a kid, I was in a family band with my parents and sister. Is that true?
No. Yeah.
You say no, you say yeah. What do you think? Was I in a family band?
No.
No, he says no. What do you guys think?
No.
No. Well, you said with your mom and your sister?
My mom and my dad and my sister.
And your mom, your dad, and your sister. And weren't your like parents like hardcore Christian or like hardcore religious?
Yep.
No. Unless it was a religious band, then no.
I am a reliable narrator. That is true. And we did mostly perform religious songs.
Okay, yeah.
Except sometimes we would go around to like nursing homes and stuff, and we would sing not religious stuff. I did Skinnamarink Dinky Dink, Skinnamarink Doo. Y'all know that song? Oh my God. Yeah, I'm gonna perform it real fast because it's got hand motions. Skinnamarink Dinky Dink, Skinnamarink Doo. I love you. Skinnamarink Dinky Dink, Skinnamarink Doo. I love you. I love you in the morning and in the afternoon. I love you in the evening and underneath the moon. Oh, Skinnamarink Dinky Dink, Skinnamarink Doo. I love you. I did that and I wore a big sunflower hat. Okay, let's see if I'm still reliable. I am about to get my 7th tattoo.
Yes.
No.
Randall says yes. You say,
Wait, hold on.
Probably like the slightest one.
huh?
Looked over, you're like,
She only got 3. She got 1 more.
Miss McClellan doesn't even have up to near 7. That I know is definitely true. She has that violin on her arm. She has like some text on her as well because she got the matching tattoos about Mr. Benvenuti. I think she only has like 3 or 4. I don't think she has up to 7.
She has one on her body like
I think I'm unreliable. I am unreliable, but I have 4 that are visible. 1, 2, 3, 4.
See, I knew it was gonna be like a tiny.
Yeah, you're right. I'm getting my 5th.
Yeah, because you like looked over, you're like, what number can I use?
Okay, last one I'll do and I'll let somebody else go. I am going on a trip this summer that I'm really looking forward to Europe.
Is that where you're gonna go see Backstreet Boys?
No, I'm going to see them in Indiana.
Yeah, okay. To Europe during
2
all of
weeks
this?
in Italy and 1 week in London.
During a pandemic.
Like, I'm vaccinated.
I don't know.
Yeah, you're going.
I'll think so.
2 weeks in Italy and 1 week in London.
Yeah, no,
Mhm.
I don't buy that.
Alyssa says no. Zane says he believes me.
Hold
You
on, I
believe
gotta
me?
look at the map. I gotta look at the
Yeah,
map.
because there's
for
no
that.
way you just thought of all that just now.
That's the whole point of the conversation, though. Is you gotta either make it up on the spot or tell the truth.
I feel like you're probably going on a trip.
Okay, Mr. Cullen, I have a question for you.
Okay.
How long is the flight from Italy to London?
Oh, I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, okay.
That's fair.
What months are you going to Italy and what months are you going to London?
It's all in July.
It's all in July.
hmm
It's at
I'm
the
going
beginning of
to-
July.
Oh, I changed my answer. No.
After the 4th. I'm staying here for the 4th.
You're staying here for the 4th, but then you're leaving.
Yes.
That's a lie. That is such a lie.
Yeah, it's cap.
Why?
There's just no way, Miss.
I
McCullough.
was
There's
just
no
your body
way.
language when you were saying it.
Why is there no way?
I don't believe. When do we? Okay, well, let me ask this. When do we get out of school?
Our last day is June 20. Well, my last day is June 21st.
Your last day is June 21st. After that, there's no more grading, none of that.
None of that. That's
None
a
of
that's a teacher work day.
And who are you going to Italy and London with?
My sister and her husband.
Your sister and her husband.
Mhm.
No, you're not. No,
It's not.
I don't think so. That's not true.
Right? That's why I'm saying that's why, because that's a weird jump from Italy to London.
Randall says he sees it.
I can't see that. There's
Yeah,
no
I think
way.
so.
No, I'm lying.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no possible
Came up with
way.
that pretty quick.
It's not unbelievable though.
It's
Like
unbelievable. Yes, it is. For
I
you,
would
yes,
do
it
that. I would
is.
absolutely go.
Miss McClellan. For you, it's unbelievable to me. That's just, there's just
Why?
no way. I don't know, but that's just not right. I don't think you would ever. I think you would go to a different country, but not during all of this. I think you are the type of person that will want to keep everybody else safe before you ever do something crazy like that. There's just no way. And with the COVID rising in the UK and all of that,
I would do it. I don't even care about the virus anymore.
see,
I mean, masks don't do anything. I don't even wear my mask most days.
there we
Alright.
go.
Okay, which part of it was a lie? Because I feel like some of it was true, but some of it was a lie.
I think
I'm going on a couple of trips this summer in the United States, and I'm planning to go to London next summer with Miss
now-
Caitlin.
That would see, that's the part that didn't make any sense to me. You said you were going with your sister and her husband. No, you would not. You would go with Miss
Oh.
Cathan or somebody. Yes.
Oh,
my
no,
God.
like if
it
they
would be-
invited me, I'd absolutely
Miss
go
McClellan, if you said you were going with Miss Cathan, I would have believed you, but you said your sister and her husband. I don't ever really hear you talk about her that much either. So
Oh, you don't know her though. Like
You just said your sister, not her husband, because then you'd be third wheeling, and I don't think anyone would want to go on a trip with it.
good with it. Like I'm good with that. We like the three of us have a good relationship and we have like gone on trips and stuff together. I stay with them sometimes, they stay with me sometimes. So I would, but not this summer, and I'm just not. But that does have, like in Europe, it's easier to like go from one country to another. Like you do sometimes do like one country for a while, then another country for a while, because they're all there together.
Italy's a country. London's a city.
I know. I thought about that afterwards, but then I was like, I don't need to like overcorrect myself. Okay. All right. Who has a fact about themselves that we're gonna determine if you're lying? Why not you?
It's very easy to tell if I'm lying or not.
Do you have a tell?
Ask Cece, she knows better than I do.
All right, Alyssa, give us a fact about yourself.
It's like eight there.
Yeah.
When I was at camp, I broke the toe next to my acorn because of horse stuff on it.
Did you guys hear that? When Alyssa was at camp, she broke the toe next to her big toe because a horse stepped on it. Do we believe her?
what kind of camp was it?
Summer camp, I went for 4 weeks.
A summer camp. She went for 4 weeks.
And there was a horse there?
There were a bunch of horses there.
Okay. Where was this? Like in the world?
Like in the world, it's in South
Yeah.
Carolina.
It was in South Carolina.
It's up near Seneca, but it's in the mountains. It's in Mount Rest, and literally Mount Rest is such a small place that like there's literally 3 roads, and the one that you take leads you to the summer camp.
Okay.
This feels believable. My only question, like the only reason I'm like, ooh, is it? Is like, what if it was a different toe?
Yeah, that's such a specific toe. No, let's talk about that for a second. That's such a specific toe. You broke your second toe because of a horse stepped on it. No, you wouldn't have been able to do that because horses' hooves are so freaking huge. You might as well have broken 3 different toes, right?
Would you only break one toe? Although
I
you
don't
didn't
think
say
that-
you only broke that toe.
You said you broke the second toe, which makes me believe how she said it or how you repeated it to us, that she only broke said toe.
The horse was like just right here.
Yeah. So
Good point, Randall.
how old were you when this happened?
I was going into 9th grade.
Are you going in the ninth?
Going into 9th grade.
Okay, but that wasn't the question. I said, how old were you? I need to know a specific age.
Oh. Well, gosh, I wouldn't know. Probably 14.
14.
Yeah, I wouldn't remember that either. I don't remember how old. I don't even know how old y'all are.
And I don't believe you only for the fact that you only broke one toe. Like the horse only just decided to break. Yeah, that toe looks useless right this second. Like I would believe you if you would said like you broke your big toe and your second toe, but the fact that you said you only broke one toe, that's I don't know about that.
So the horse only stepped on one toe. His horse
Yeah, he only broke one toe.
He only broke one.
So it only I don't
I know, I'm conflicted about it.
as there's just I don't think so. Like in my heart, I'm like, I'm gonna say I should say yes, because if it is true, then oh my gosh. But like in my brain, that just doesn't make sense to me. I can't make that make sense for some reason. Even though it's like honestly believable, I can't make it make sense.
All right, I'm choosing to believe her. I think she's reliable.
I
You
don't
guys
think
say
so.
no. Alyssa,
Sorry. Oh, it's true.
it's true.
It's true. That doesn't make
Oh, you spread your toe out. My toe was still broken because they couldn't fix it.
Yeah, there's nothing you can really do with broken toe.
To the hospital because it was like second toe, and so they just wrapped it.
Just taped it.
I had the square dance the same day.
Oh my God.
And so I just.
Let's just sit out.
I did not sit out. I love the square dance. I was gonna dance, and my toe just turned purple and yellow and everything.
Gross. Ew.
That's a weird wow. Okay.
Yeah,
I
it's
guess,
a weird one.
I guess the horse really had it out for your toe.
You can tell.
You're like, I don't ever wear sandals. It's so ugly. Randall, you got one? Just one. Yeah. Unless you want to do more.
I put a ball spot in my head.
When Randall was little, he found a bald spot in his head. You put one in your head. What do you mean? You cut your own hair and left a bald spot? I'm like not believing you now because I don't believe him. I don't
That's
believe
not
him.
true. That's not true. Randall, you would not be alive today if you did said thing.
So your mom put a bald spot in your head.
I
You
put a ball spot in my head.
That's true?
Yeah.
He says it's true.
That's not true. I don't know why he's sitting here and telling that lie and still continuing. The game basically over. Ain't no way.
I did mine myself too.
I remember.
And the razor, the top of the razor comes off, so you just see like a little spoon. So I didn't. I did the Antoine too.
Oh my God.
I had like touched my hair. It was like, could I come out? I was like, you know what? My hair just grow back. I just say,
Oh no. You're like, I'm bald.
no, it's like growing. And I just covered it up.
Okay, do you have one, Jenny?
When I was at camp, when I was younger, some girl closed the door with my finger in it. My pinky finger.
At camp, when she was younger, some girl closed Jenny's pinky finger in the door
It was like
2 summers ago.
2 summers ago.
We're determining whether each other are reliable narrators or not.
Two summers ago.
2 summers ago. I don't believe you.
I don't believe you. You have not gone anywhere for the past 4 summers, Genesis. What are you?
She said she went to
I
camp.
saw Camp Cooper.
Camp Cooper.
And the girl, she was leaving the door. We have like cabins where there are cookies
Uh-huh.
and nuts. And she was closing the door. She didn't know. And I had my hand like that.
Oh,
She closed it. My finger went like that, whatever.
I'm starting to believe you.
Yeah.
All right. I
Camp
think
Cooper? Hold on, because where was this,
She's
Genesis?
Googling it. She's like, Cece's
Where
Googling.
was this? Where is
Where's
Camp
Camp
Cooper?
She doesn't know. She doesn't know where it is.
That's because it's not true. I don't even know why she sit here and tell me it's like, no, that's not true. What in Charleston? Here, I'll even look it up. I just want to see if it is.
I think it's true. She said she
It-
didn't know that, but she got taken there on a bus.
It was like,
Camp Bob Cooper in Somerton.
Somerton.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, it's not a real place. I mean,
it's called camp. What is it?
Oh, here we go. The story's changing.
Camp
Oh, maybe it's not
Sandy
Camp.
Ridge, I think. It's Sandy
That's
Ridge.
nothing like Cooper. I don't believe her. I don't believe her.
Some people give those false, you know,
Genesis.
Lie detector, yes.
Put a little pressure on you in a room.
They're like,
Here,
oh,
here,
maybe
here,
it wasn't
wait,
Camp
wait.
Cooper.
This is the question to determine all of it. Okay,
Okay.
Genesis. At said camp, right? This you're saying I'm going with Cooper because that's the one that you gave us, and that was the one you're sticking on. At Camp Cooper, name one of the activities that you
Shut
can
up.
do.
Shut up, Sissy. I'm sorry. I was at Cat Cooper in 4th grade as a final thing, whatever. So I went to Sandy Ridge.
Uh-huh.
Girl Scout thing.
Genesis,
Yeah.
no.
It's
That's a
in
lie.
Bennettsville and South
Oh
Carolina.
yeah, I've heard of Bennettsville.
Yeah, it's
I've
in
heard of it, but there's no way.
It's true. She says it's true.
That's a lie. She had
All
this.
right.
There's no way.
One more. Somebody
I got
on.
one.
Okay, James, go for it.
I am related to a sign of the Declaration of Independence.
I believe that 100%. There's no way. I cannot discount that at all. Mm-mm.
I believe that. Although watch him be like, no, it was actually the Treaty of Versailles. Or something.
Yeah.
College application thing. Are you like?
Are you
How do you
related?
know that? How can I find out that information?
Genealogy, I guess.
But like, it's like a question on if you're trying to get scholarships, if you're like a descendant.
Oh,
of the
yeah.
Declaration of Independence, you can get a scholarship.
Yeah, that's a good point. James, I bet you can get a scholarship for that. I think it's
I
true.
believe it. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
true. All right,
Mhm.
Mr. Nelson has one. We'll let Mr. Nelson do the last one.
I once had a student who bit off his own finger.
He once had a student that bit off his own finger. and
I
that
believe
student
that.
was his Father.
I believe that Mrs. Nelson told me the story.
It's true. It's true. It happened. Just like a carrot.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no, that's how much strength it takes to bite your own finger off is the strength to bite a
Like,
carrot.
not
And
that
they
much.
say psychologically, your brain doesn't allow you to do it.
Yeah.
But as soon as the
I'm gonna start telling people that's how my dad lost his finger.
He didn't even realize he bit off his finger.
Yeah,
How do you know? Like, you're bleeding. How do you not know?
I can't remember if he ate it or spit it out. That's the other part.
Ew, I hope we
No.
sort it out. Okay, we're gonna look at the first bit of, I know, we really didn't tell any, I was the only liar in the
The
group.
moral of the story is that all of y'all are bad truth tellers.
Hey, Nate. Oh, you want your cap and gown? How exciting. Let's see, where are you? Tomlin, Sack, Nathaniel Roosevelt Ravenel. Make sure you don't lose it. I'd put it in your bag.
Hey, do Christy got one?
His got delivered to his house. Although apparently they sent him the wrong one. I don't know.
So say you get the drown and you like somewhat fail.
Okay, yeah, you can come get it before the end of the or end of school if you want. Say that you what?
Like you get the drown, like will you still
So what we've done before, and keep in mind, we've only had one like real graduation before. There was like one person who failed a class that they needed to graduate, and we're gonna take it again over the summer. And so we just let that person walk and didn't give them an actual diploma, just gave them like a placeholder. But like obviously didn't want them to miss out on the actual graduation for one class. So yeah. I doubt it. I think he's doing okay. He's not one who, I will say there have been some parents who have emailed me this year to be like, is my kid gonna graduate? And I don't think that I don't think he was one that was like on the border. I think he'll be all right. Okay, so we're gonna start reading The Great Gatsby. We probably won't get very far today. And I might finish, honestly, for tomorrow. Okay, two things about tomorrow. I don't know if I'm gonna actually meet with you guys tomorrow, because I have a dentist appointment. So we'll see. But I might just like record the rest of chapter 1 that we don't get to. And that'll be like your task for tomorrow to listen to it. But if you go to Canvas, you'll see The Great Gatsby text here. It's not a long book. I'm not gonna keep it open like this. I'm gonna, oops, boop, 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 go away.
Would there be any possible way that I could get it?
Yes, we have enough paper copies in here where if some of you guys want a paper copy, you can. And we'll also like never, it'll always be like a chapter at a time. It'll never be like read to the bottom of page 23 or whatever. Because we are going to move through this pretty quickly. I'll come back to this little thing, but we're gonna look at the first like page and a half, and stop and talk about what we think about this narrator, because there is debate over whether he is reliable or not reliable. So I want to know what you guys think. In my younger and more vulnerable years, my father gave me some advice that I've been turning over in my mind ever since. Whenever you feel like criticizing anyone, he told me, just remember that all the people in this world haven't had the advantages that you've had. He didn't say any more, but we've always been unusually communicative in a reserved way, and I understood that he meant a great deal more than that. In consequence, I'm inclined to reserve all judgments, a habit that's opened up many curious natures to me and also made me the victim of not a few veteran bores. The abnormal mind is quick to detect and attach itself to this quality when it appears in a normal person. And so it came about that in college, I was unjustly accused of being a politician because I was privy to the secret griefs of wild, unknown men. Most of the confidences were unsought. Frequently, I feigned sleep, preoccupation, or a hostile levity when I realized by some unmistakable sign that an intimate revelation was quivering on the horizon. For the intimate revelations of young men, or at least the terms in which they express them, are usually plagiaristic and marred by obvious suppressions. Reserving judgments is a matter of infinite hope. I am still a little afraid of missing something if I forget that, as my father snobbishly suggested, and I snobbishly repeat, a sense of the fundamental decencies is parceled out unequally at birth. So just taking a look at that bit, what he's basically saying is like, his father told him, don't be too harsh to criticize anybody because you're privileged and not everybody is. And he's like, I took that to heart and I have always been really non-judgmental of people.
I don't believe him.
Alyssa immediately says, I don't believe him. Why?
No one is that like good in their mind. Like, you're gonna judge people. It happens. You're not
Yeah.
gonna just be able to drop it completely.
Yeah, like and there are some people who are like generally non-judgmental, like they're very good at not being judgy of other people, but everybody does a little.
This dude does not sound like it.
He doesn't sound like it. And I feel like the rest of the paragraph after he says, I don't judge people, is basically him judging people.
Yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, I don't ever judge people. And because of that, I'm a good listener. People come to me and like talk to me about whatever they need to talk about.
Unjustly accused. Those words right there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's saying that some people he's the victim of not a few veteran bores. A lot of people bore me to death. He gets accused of being a politician, which I think that kind of shows a certain like two-facedness. He sometimes pretended to be asleep so people would stop talking to him, which I get, but and then he keeps saying that like I reserve judgments on people.
After just going on a rant about
Right.
things.
And he said like he calls himself a snob. I snobbishly repeat, a sense of the fundamental decencies is parceled out unequally at birth, basically meaning people are not born equal. Some people are born better than others. Some people are not. I'm like, you're going to say that after you just said you're not very judgmental?
After you had your dad give you a good piece of advice, it was like, hey, you're privileged, check yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like his dad is, this is all we really ever hear of his dad. And I'm kind of like, I wish we knew more about him.
His dad sounds like he's very knowledgeable.
He's got his head on straight. Yeah. So I'm not saying that this guy is a liar, but I think it's worth looking at to see, like, maybe he doesn't have the best sense of self-awareness. That could be it. I mean, if he thinks he's super non-judgmental, but he's saying all this stuff, it seems like maybe he's just not aware of his own shortcomings. But let's keep going a little bit. This first chapter, like, we're learning a good bit about him. And after boasting this way of my tolerance, I come to the admission that it has a limit. All right. Like, I'm not perfectly intolerant. Conduct may be founded on the hard rock or the wet marshes, but after a certain point, I don't care what it's founded on. When I came back from the East last autumn, I felt that I wanted the world to be in uniform and at a sort of moral attention forever. I wanted no more riotous excursions with privileged glimpses into the human heart. Only Gatsby, the man who gives his name to this book, was exempt from my reaction. Gatsby, who represented everything for which I have an unaffected scorn. If personality is an unbroken series of successful gestures, then there was something gorgeous about him, some heightened sensitivity to the promises of life, as if he were related to one of those intricate machines that register earthquakes 10,000 miles away. This responsiveness had nothing to do with that flabby impressionability, which is dignified under the name of the creative temperament. It was an extraordinary gift for hope, a romantic readiness such as I have never found in any other person, and which it's not likely I shall ever find again. No, Gatsby turned out all right in the end. It's what preyed on Gatsby, what foul dust floated in the wake of his dreams that temporarily closed out my interest in the abortive sorrows and short-winded elations of men.
I like the way that it's narrated.
Yeah, like the language is really nice. And so we get a little bit of info about him there, coming back from the East. And we don't really know like where he's been at this point, but he adores Gatsby. I mean, the whole thing's from his perspective, and I feel like maybe that's why it's called The Great Gatsby, because he kind of idolized him, even though he says Gatsby kind of stood for all the things that I don't like, but somehow he made it work. Because when he came back from wherever he'd been, he wanted everybody to be at a sort of moral attention. Like, he wanted people to just be good and play by the rules and be upstanding. And he just doesn't have much patience for people who don't do that. Gatsby doesn't do that. Gatsby is, I mean, we'll learn more about Gatsby, but he's very like lavish and extravagant, and he doesn't play by the rules, but yet this narrator really likes him. My family have been prominent, well-to-do people in this Middle Western city for 3 generations. The Carraways are something of a clan, and we have a tradition that we're descended from the Dukes of Buccleuch. I don't know what that is. But the actual founder of my line was my grandfather's brother, who came here in 51, sent a substitute to the Civil War, and started the wholesale hardware business that my father carries on today. I never saw this great uncle, but I'm supposed to look like him, with special reference to the rather hard-boiled painting that hangs in father's office. I graduated from New Haven, which is another way of saying Yale. Like, for some reason back then they weren't like, oh, I went to Yale. They're like, oh, I spent some time in New Haven. Like, almost like they didn't want to brag about the fact that they'd been to Yale. They did that for like the Ivy League schools. So when he talks about his time at New Haven, he's talking about when he went to college at Yale. I graduated from New Haven in 1915, just a quarter of a century after my father. And a little later, I participated in the delayed Teutonic migration known as the Great War, aka World War I. I enjoyed the counter raid so thoroughly that I came back restless. Instead of being the warm center of the world, the Middle West now seemed like the ragged edge of the universe. So I decided to go east and learn the bond business. Everybody I knew was in the bond business, so I supposed it could support one more single man. All my aunts and uncles talked it over as if they were choosing a prep school for me, and finally said, why, yes, with very grave, hesitant faces. Father agreed to finance me for a year, And after various delays, I came east permanently, I thought, in the spring of 22. And one thing I wanted to point out here, I don't know if you guys remember from the modernism presentation we did week before last, but the big thing about modernism is that it took place after World War I, which just like turned the world on its head. And all these people, all these young men in particular who fought in the war or were really affected by the war, kind of came back and didn't really know what to do with themselves and didn't really know like how to carry on with life. Like, what's my purpose? What's, I've faced life and death and now I kind of don't know what to do. And I feel like that's really reflected in this last paragraph, because he's talking about how like after he came back from the war, he was so restless and like didn't really know what to do. Nothing felt the same anymore. So he just decided to go into the bond business, which is like a financial thing, because it seemed practical and like everybody he knew was doing it. He didn't have a passion for it. He was just like trying to find a thing to do. I'll read one more, maybe two more paragraphs, and then we're going to end for today. The practical thing was to find rooms in the city, but it was a warm season and I had just left a country of wide lawns and friendly trees. So when a young man at the office suggested that we take a house together in a commuting town, it sounded like a great idea. He found the house, a weather-beaten cardboard bungalow at $80 a month, but at the last minute, the firm ordered him to Washington and I went out to the country alone. I had a dog, at least I had him for a few days till he ran away, and an old Dodge and a Finnish woman who made my bed and cooked breakfast and muttered Finnish wisdom to herself over the electric stove. It was lonely for a day or so until one morning, some man, more recently arrived than I, stopped me on the road. How do you get to West Egg Village? He asked helplessly. I told him. And as I walked on, I was lonely no longer. I was a guide, a pathfinder, an original settler. He had casually conferred on me the freedom of the neighborhood. And so with the sunshine and the great bursts of leaves growing on the trees, just as things grow in fast movies, I had that familiar conviction that life was beginning over again with the summer, which is a very famous quote from this book. That's where I'm going to end for today. My goal is to get through 2 chapters of this a week, and we pretty much have to stick to that goal just in order to like get it all done before the end of the year and be able to test on it and do a couple other things. So sometimes there might be instances where I like ask you to finish the chapter on your own or post a link to me reading it or something. So I am going to ask you to finish chapter 1 before Thursday, but tomorrow I'll post a video of me reading it just to help you guys out, because I know some of y'all do better listening to it rather than actually reading it. So bell's going to ring any second, so I'll have to let you guys go. I'll see you maybe tomorrow. I'll email you if I'm not going to be able to meet with you guys. See ya.
Goodbye.